Permission to record. There we go. We're recording, and per usual, I'm messing the Zoom up pretty good. It's Mr. Fisher, Mr. TJ Barker, and Markita Woods, the queen of mortgages, coming into us from, is it Woodbridge? Is that correct?
You were on it, but I moved about 3 miles down the road during the pandemic to Dumfries, but we'll take it. Woodbridge, Virginia. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, Markita, I love your story. I love your branding. I know you've kind of sort of been watching the Survivor series, and we kind of tricked you. You thought this was going to be a call day and we were helping you. And you're like, no, actually, Markita, you're going to be helping us today. And, you know, just like a lot of folks, you had mentioned prior to the call, like, hey, I'm down a little bit. I'm swinging a lot. You know, my numbers aren't as good as they normally are. But, you know, I know your numbers are usually good. I know how hard you work. I know all the things you do. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you've been doubling down for a long time, for so many years. Like, it's just part of your DNA to double down and work hard, right?
Well, you know what? That's a fact. Yeah. I mean, like you said, you know the backstory. So for those that don't know the backstory, basically was playing basketball in the WNBA. Went into the locker room last day of the training camp. I was in my third year with the Mystics, and the coach said, "You know what it is?" And I was like, "No, I don't. What you mean, what it is? I don't know what is it?" And they were like, "We're going in a different direction. So, you know, turn in your playbook, and that's it." And that was like an hour before the deadline to go into, you know, that next season or whatever. So punched me kind of in the face. On the off season of that year, though, I had met a person that owned a mortgage company, and she said, if you ever want to, you know, figure out what we do, since you have a degree in financial management, come check us out. So, you know, scrambling around in my car, I don't think I met her by choice. I'm in my car, so I'm looking in the glove box, looking everywhere, the armrest, because, you know, people just throw business cards anywhere, even back then. So find her card and give her a call, and she was like super excited. So she tells me I had to pass a class to be able to be a loan officer. And ironically, the class started on that Monday, and I probably called her like on that Thursday or Friday. So you know damn well that it wasn't no for real class. They had us in there doing GFEs by hand, and only to tell us later that if you could do the GFEs, it was like 3 of us, then you passed the class and you could be a loan officer. And that's pretty much how I started in July 2000. And my only 2 jobs have been professional basketball and a loan officer. So I'm pretty unhireable at this point. So I've always had to bring it from the muscle. So this time right here, it's different, but it's the same. So yeah, I survived the crash. I've been in it for 20 years. So always doubling down, always hustling. I'm from Detroit, and to show up in Woodbridge, Virginia, and try to create a brand and start a business, I mean, you had to get on your grind for the most part. And then around maybe like 2008, I was like, man, what is this VA loan stuff about? I need to find a loan where people need no money down. So that's where it really started for me, wanted to get involved more as far as VA loans are concerned. And maybe it was 2010, I'm not sure. But I've been running with it ever since. And right now, though, this is a different time, folks. I will admit it. Coming off of a pandemic, a pandemic like that, you know, where the whole nation is shut down. It's just a little harder. I mean, the business for me always has been hard, but I think a lot of that, just my past has prepared me for where I am right now. So yeah.
So you kind of have always known, like, hey, this is going to be a tough road. Like, everything you've had to do has been a tough road. So what kind of things do you do every single day that make a difference? What are you doing right now that makes a difference? Like there's LOs watching us that are, oh my gosh, I might hang it up. I might go be an Uber driver. I might, you know, just drive this car and get a side hustle all day, every day, instead of teaching agent classes. I mean, what are you doing right now?
So yeah, it doesn't even matter what I've done in the past, because things are different right now. But I'm going to be honest, I don't want to sound all, you know, spiritual or nothing, but I'm just waking up with gratitude every day, man. So my routine now is I'm waking up with gratitude, thankful. Look, everything's not where I want it to be, but I'm blessed to be where I am right now. And then I had to also do one other thing that I had kind of let slip. Like I can't play basketball now because I got a basketball on my damn stomach. So I had to start working out again. So I'm telling you, that has made a big difference for me. Just having an attitude of gratitude for everything, even the stuff that's not going well. I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful for this because I know if I stay the course, something good is going to come out of it because it always has. And then I had to get back to exercising. So I started back getting out and getting my steps in. And that's just made a huge difference for me as far as the mindset. Another thing I did have to do, and I'm not even going to front, I had to cut some people off because they were just too negative. And when everything's going well, you can deal with their negativity. But when everything's kind of tough for you and they're negative too, so I had to kind of cut some people off and make my circle smaller. I actually had to get off some of these groups on Facebook too, Fish, because I was like, this is not really the spirit that I need or want to have right now. And I don't want none of it creeping in. So for me, that's been it. And some days are better than others. But for the most part, I'm remaining positive. I'm fired up about what's about to happen here for those that do stay the course.
I like it. I mean, that concept of the people that you roll with end up becoming the people that or you end up becoming the people that you roll with, you know? So if you're in a group of negative people all the time, or you're hanging out in circles where people just sit there and fight and complain, you end up participating in it and being a part of all that. So I know I struggle with that because I tried to run some of these bigger communities like MLO Net. And, you know, sometimes no matter how open on it we try to be, we bring in some people that don't have the right mindset. And we're just like, hey, guys, come on, let's not delve into that type of activity, just not helping any of us out. So yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, got to stick together, got to find people that are doing it. Now, real estate activities, mortgage activities, what are you focusing on the most right now that you think is showing you some benefit that you can measure, or is so darn close to showing you benefit? I mean, you know for sure from the past that it's going to work.
So I've always been a huge proponent of two things in my business. And I can't say always, but for quite a while, really have been into video. Before anybody was really thinking about video, I was using videos. I remember when Carl White came out with the mortgage video postcard thing. It was like the very first video postcard that you could ever do. And you put your little face in the thing. And I promise you, it's probably like 2012. And I will say to this day, I do feel like video saved my mortgage career after the crash. And that was just having people know, like, and trust me, and cutting off the cycle really quick. So I was able to get rid of people that looked at Markita, didn't like Markita, didn't like what Markita had to say. I didn't ever get in contact with those people because they already saw me on the video. So the people that were reaching out was able to shorten the sales cycle. So right now I'm doubling down on video. I actually got to the point I was just kind of burnt out with video, because when you've been actually doing something consistently for that longer time, it does happen. I mean, really, it's like 2012, a video postcard saved my life. I posted on Craigslist. It was $47 from Carl White. You put your face in the middle, and a guy called me for a VA loan because I had did the postcard, and I'm saying Craigslist, y'all. So y'all hear what I'm talking about. I mean, that might as well be over here saying, what the hell, MySpace, right? So put it on Craigslist.
Where did you put that, in the like room for rent section, or like?
Man,
I remember that.
Don't rent a room, get a VA loan.
Remember it, TJ?
I did it all the time. Did that, and then you also did the one with the where you took the picture and you hyperlinked it.
Yes.
On there, and you push people to a 1003, and you sent people to credit repair, and you fed your family off of credit repair affiliate fees.
Credit repair leads, the tough deals, man. That's how
I did that. Yeah, that's how I survived too.
Yeah. So and it's interesting that all of that is coming back into play now, because in my opinion, in the last 2 years, the cream of the crop bought. So now I do have deals going on, but I feel like they're tougher, right? Because the cream of the crop bought, everybody has a little this. So some of the loan quality is not as great as it was, but I'm glad I've been well steeped in credit repair, different type of things. But yeah, put that postcard on there. Guy called. When he came in, I asked him where he saw me. He said on Craigslist, and he said that he watched the video and he felt like he could trust me. He ended up buying a house using his VA loan. Referred him to an agent that I was trying to work with, who was still doing business in the county, and they were one of the heavy hitters. And they said all of the lenders they work with, nobody had ever sent them a deal. So I was going to be their new preferred lender, and we just started rolling from there. And I literally say that shit saved my career. So video is one thing, and the other thing is education. So got thrown off a little bit in the last couple of years with the pandemics, but I was doing lunch and learns monthly. That was something that was just part of our business stack of what we're going to do to get in front of new agents. So we're back out now. We're outside with it again, and we're doing classes. We have 4 more classes scheduled to teach until the end of the year. And right now I'm focused on reaching out to title companies to actually get with them to do more classes. So I'm in a region that's like, it's 3 states, DMV, so Virginia, Maryland, and DC. I really stayed mostly, huh?
Stay out of Maryland. What are you doing?
All right, I'm not coming up too far, man.
I know you're not coming up to the woods here. Hey, shameless plug.
Trust me, I'm not coming up that way.
For teaching your classes, where do you get your content?
Oh, you already know. I use John Thomas's loan officer success seminars, if that's what it's called, or however you say it. So I branded it to, got my own domain, and I use his classes, and it's really plug and play. I mean, take his big head out of there, put your big head in there, and take his contact information out and put yours in there and get the teaching. And then I will, initially I will watch his class, and then I would just teach it in my own way. Right. So that's how it goes. And I ain't gonna lie, that system is fire, because one of the problems I had when I was already teaching, it would take so much time to come up with these ugly PowerPoints and things like that. Or I would swipe them from this other group, which is called Agent Mastermind, which is another thing of Carl White. So I started off in their group or whatever some while ago, went to their first retreat. So I would use some of their deal, but his are, high level. The presentations are awesome. So I think it's definitely well worth the investment. It's cheap in my opinion, because the time that it would take me to put together these presentations, I don't know, I think it's maybe $100, or I don't know how much it is a month, but at the end of the day, it definitely wasn't worth my time per hour for what my time is actually worth. So I love his actual system. Yeah.
So you're kind of in the back to basics approach here, right? You're getting your video out there, getting your content out there, you're back building your brand again, taking care of yourself, which is huge right now, because so many of us in the craziness of when did it start? It was like
March 2020.
April 19th is when rates first turned, right? Or we started feeling that. And then of course we just jumped into the COVID thing. So good.
I maintain the craziness started when I got licensed first, like in 2003. That's when the craziness started.
Right, yeah, true.
Never stopped.
But now again, you're back to the fundamental foundational business, right? It's what built you. It's what kind of helped you build your name and your brand. Common theme as we got these classes right here, is with these Survivor series, is staying focused on that brand, communicating and educating, right? Because people have questions, they're uncertain, they're seeing different stuff all over the place right now. So having someone that is a trusted resource such as yourself, I'm assuming that's only helping you build that database that you can continue to market to.
So Markita, I'm going to throw a curveball question at you here. So let's say that you're doing these classes, you're doing all these videos, all this kind of stuff, and then you're not maybe getting as many applications, so you flip over to some other coaching program that's telling you to call realtors. Is it easier or is it harder to call the realtors after you made a bunch of videos and taught a bunch of classes?
Oh, it's super easy.
Because they know who you are.
They already know. Like, even if they don't come to the classes, they click on the links, they see the videos. And I
get all these people that are like, oh, I'm trying to call these realtors and they don't know who I am. It's because you haven't made a brand yet. Of course,
haven't built a brand. And then as soon as we get the Lola version 5 and hit them with the retarget, it's a wrap. So
which by the way, it's in there. So
all right, yeah.
We're talking about the branding though. In every week, Fish, you've seen how many people we've spoken about with this. I don't want to make my 40 calls. I can't make those calls. I'm so scared to make those calls. But then you got people like Markita, you got people like Stephen Roberts, right? That have gone ahead and spent 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks that they wouldn't be making calls, quickly building a brand, putting their content in front of the people that they want to see it. So when it is time to make those calls, they're calling from a position of power, right? I'm like, holy shit, the queen's on the phone, right? I got the queen.
I got the queen.
She's calling me.
Hey, self-appointed. If you don't believe in you, I don't know who is. So I just, hey, I'm the queen.
Sometimes they don't even, they don't even take the meeting or take your call, but they remember you. So like we were doing this, and not to sidetrack us, but Leroy Romero who's going to be on Thursday, was teaching in Dallas. And he's like, guys, this is so stinking easy. Take out your phones, text like 5 title companies who you mentioned earlier in the call and say like, hey, I got 2 new killer classes coming up. I'd like to, get on the schedule and have you help me fill the room and let's rock it out. And then text 3 realtors about how you got this new class coming out and you want to go ahead and either set up a Zoom with them and their team or come to their class in like, 3, 4, 5, 6 texts. Okay, who set up a class? Who set up a class? And sure enough, the whole audience is setting up classes left and right. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the same thing. So I do it myself just to play along. And a couple people didn't reply. Literally a minute before we started this call, one of the people I texted who did not reply, hey, sending a HVAC tech here. Sounds like he's buying over 500 grand. He's VA. You're the best in the county. Thanks for following up with me. I love you. We'll talk soon. Like, didn't set up a class that day. Didn't make a follow-up that day, but I did something, right? And it's all these things that they come together when you keep going down the right path. I think a lot of LOs kind of forget how important it is to stand for something and put a message out there and be a brand and all that kind of stuff. So I love what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
And I know that the Queen of Mortgages isn't just Markita, the queen. It's like Markita, who knows all this stuff about all these things. And she's here again to show you all this cool stuff. So it's like your brand isn't just a logo. It's like a really smart person that is just teaching people constantly about mortgages. It's so cool. I love it.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yep. So I just got this shirt right out of the box. Thanks for whoever posted the link to order it. But this will be on video, even with the bad hair day today. So guys, just, get out there and do it. I mean, it's much easier to make the phone calls when you're coming from a place of contribution. And if you do the videos and then you have the classes, you can just call, just say hey, I'm calling to invite you to the class. And to your point, Fish, I was laying back during the pandemic because it was no time to even breathe or think at that point, right? And let a lot of things go. And one of them was being consistent with the classes. But just like that, the Prince William Association of Realtors right here in my area, I got 4 classes on the books for them already next year.
Awesome. All right. So
real quick, let me jump in here because again, I know we're way over, which
these don't want to be that.
5 to 10 minutes to 10 to 15. Now we're just going to start being like, these calls want to go for as long as they go. But you guys both have mentioned title companies, right? Good friend of mine is a title rep. I've known him for years. Right? They're hurting too because they got so hooked on the refi business, right? They got so hooked on that refi business that, they did the same thing as so many of us LOs. They stopped going out and building the relationships and prospecting with that purchase business. Leverage them, leverage their account reps, leverage their marketing departments in there, for whatever it is you're doing, whether it's teaching the class, whether it's talking about the 2-1 buy down, whether it's video marketing, whether it's making TikTok videos. They will go out and do your legwork and make those introductions for you if you've got something that's different. If you've got that unique selling proposition, again, whatever it is, whatever you're comfortable with, leverage other people's databases. That's what you mentioned him a couple of times on here. Carl White used to talk about all the time, right? Leverage other people's databases. The person with the biggest database wins, all that type of stuff. Today is the day to be building your database because March, April, May, June, if you're in front of those people, when rates turn, when the market gets hot again, you're going to be the person they come to.
Yep. And that you all know, well, I don't know if they know how long everybody's been in the business. When it turns, it happens so quick. So you have to go ahead and be prepared. So like I said, I'm fired up for this time right now. And I'm actually grateful to have a little bit of time to actually step back and reassess some things, but still be consistent and double down. And I had to double down in the areas that were good for me, that I like to do. So think about where your greatness is too, and double down there. This is already a hard business. So nobody's going to double down on some shit that they don't like. All right. So find out what it is you like or you're good at and you're great at, and double down and run with it, guys. That's all I got.
Sweet.
You're awesome.
Hey, by the way, I still hold you responsible for that Kwame Brown pick.
I'll take it.
You should have just told the GM, nah, man, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the mix at that time. So yeah, I'll take it. Look, getting fired from the business is the best thing ever happened.
Fisher's like, what the hell are these two talking about now? So
Sorry.
East Coast sports.
right.
Good timing.
All right,
Thank you
Fish.
all. We'll catch you on the Success Series on Thursday. Some of you will see me with Scott Groves in his coaching that we've been doing for the last next 2 days, I guess. I don't know if you want to hear about it, message me or whatever. Either way, thank you guys. We hope that you are winning, surviving, finding success, the whole 9 yards. And we will see you in a couple days.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
for
Thanks,
having me,
Queen.
guys. All right. Peace.